Favorite Jacket's back. We're still doing that. What's up, viewers, subscribers, YouTubers, all you guys? Welcome again to my top 10 list. This time for my top 10 worst movies of 2015. Because you can't have a top 10 best list without a top 10 worst list to counterbalance it. That's how the Force works. This is what Yoda says. Ooh, how the Force works, mind you. Now, I know my top 10 worst list can once again be different from your guy top 10 worst list, because I didn't see a lot of movies that you guys probably think should be on the top 10 worst list. I probably dodged a lot of bullets. So I can't think of any honorable mentions that should be on the list, but I will say that there are a lot of movies out there that was like, you dodged a bullet. I just want to say that real quick. I know there are some movies I didn't see that were bad. They're probably on your list, so we'll talk about that at the end. And before right now, let's just get into it. Let's get into the top 10 worst lists that I thought of 2015. Now, number 10 for me, that's going to kick it all off, that started in January, was Taken 3. Now, Taken 3, Liam Neeson, man. Liam Neeson is just... Liam Neeson's probably the only good thing left in these Taken movies. I hope there are no more Taken movies after this shit. Taken 3, I can hardly remember it. I just remember all the things that were just like, no, that's bullshit. I just remember calling a lot of bullshit in this movie. But more so the fact that I remember distinctively Liam Neeson jumped off of a building and landed on a garbage can, on a garbage dumpster, on his tailbone. You heard the crack of the bone collide with the metal of the dumpster. He gets off of it, just walks off perfectly fine. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's Liam Neeson. Just walk that off. Fuck no. And so more or less, Taken 3 is number 10 on my list, but don't worry, it gets a lot worse. Number 9 for me, didn't do a review for this movie, but I'm just like, I hardly remember this movie. I remember seeing this movie before it came out, and I was just like, why did I see it? Just because I had free time to do it, but it wasn't worth a review. So I guess it's worth getting on this list. And that's We Are Friends. And that DJ movie and shit that I was just like, oh, DJ playing my song. It's bullshit. The movie was just meh. I didn't necessarily like it. I didn't necessarily really hate it. I was just like, it's just meh. It's one of the movies I'm just like, it's just gonna come straight to DVD in a gas station somewhere in like 3 months, and it probably has. So not even worth talking about, because there are worse movies than this, so let's just move on. Now, number 8 for me, I'm gonna say, is a horror movie. This list has a lot of horror movies on it, because this has not been a good year for horror movies. But number 8 for me is Insidious 3. This gets number 8 for me because the Insidious movies, the first 2 movies were good. They were really good. Then the third movie that takes place for the other 2 is just like, no. You just showed me that horror movie sequels they just can't be good. First of all, the movie's not even scary. It's not really scary at all. Second of all, the movie is, in parts, it's very forgettable. It's so damn cliche. The fact you're just like, I know what's gonna happen. 3, 2, 1, there it goes. That's what happened. And not really much to talk about in Insidious 3 because what have I said in my review for the movie hasn't changed now. I just thought the movie was just meh. Whatever. So moving on to number 7. Coming in number 7 for me is another horror movie. It is a remake of one. It's Poltergeist. Now, first of all, the trailer for Poltergeist made you think like, oh god, it's gonna be the most scariest shit ever. Hollywood's gonna finally get a horror movie remake right. Did they get it right? No, they didn't. And the Poltergeist was more or less cool, like, oh shit, cool in that sci-fi channel kind of way, but not like cool, like, good horror movie cool. No. Like I said, the poster for Poltergeist had that clown on it. That clown was probably like the most tension-filled, scariest part in the movie, but it happened like kind of the middle of the movie, and it happened for like 3 minutes, and you never saw the clown again, ever. Which, like I said in my review, why the clown even on the poster? Why? Alright, so Poltergeist, number 7. Now, number 6 for me, this should be higher up on the list, but until I realized that there were worser movies than this. If I'm being truthful, there were worse movies than this movie, guys. There were worse. So for me, number 6 is gonna be Fan4Stick, or Fantastic Four, or whatever you want to call it. But there was so much hate for this movie, man, that it's just staggering. This movie really has a lot of people on edge, like, oh, Fox, are you guys gonna fuck up X-Men Apocalypse? I hope you don't, because you in superhero movies, you don't really get it. I don't remember what the director said when the movie came out. He was like, I had a vision of this movie. If Fox let me do my vision of it, Fantastic Four would have been awesome. So one begs me to question, I wonder what that version of Fantastic Four would have been. Would it have been better than this one that we got? This movie wasn't even a superhero movie, guys. It was just a movie, a generic action, sci-fi-ish, whatever fuck movie that just happened to have Fantastic Four characters in it. Like I said, Michael B. Jordan's in the movie, but he decided to do Creed. He was like, yeah, Fantastic Four, that didn't happen at all. That didn't happen. A man from Whiplash, he was in the movie. Reed Richards. Everyone's like, oh my god, you did Whiplash last year. Why are you doing this? Cause you want a check? Are you that desperate for a check, man? What? Then you had Victor Von Doom, who was Doom, not really Doom, who's like one of those Siths from Fallout and shit. No. Can't even talk about this movie too much because it kind of infuriates me, and I'm just like, when I think of Fantastic Four or Fan Four Stick, this is what my mind does. This is it. This is my mind when I think of this movie because it's just a bunch of bullshit. So Fantastic Four, number 6 for me. There you go. Rounding up my top 5 movie, I had to pick between this and number 4 movie, and this actually got number 5, but it deserves to be number 5, and that movie is, you probably forgot about this movie, Black Hat. You probably forgot about this movie because it came out way in January. I actually had to watch my review for that movie to remember it. Like, oh yeah, this is why I hated that movie. And that movie starred Chris Hemsworth trying to be a hacker and shit, but it just didn't quite work out. How could the movie was boring as shit? Acting in the movie was not good at all. The camera work was just atrocious because that cameraman and that movie deserves to be fired and fucked in the butt. Something hard. He didn't know how to shoot a movie. He just pretty much was just on his iPhone, just like, oh, Chris Hemsworth, I'm right behind you, man. You do it, man. Go ahead and do it. I'm right behind you. I'm gonna film it all up and I'm gonna edit it myself. You go, man. We're gonna make this movie hot. We're gonna do it. Black Hat was terrible. I did not like the movie at all. Very forgettable. Chris Hemsworth, you're probably the only saving grace in this movie, but that's just because you needed a check to hold you over for Age of Ultron. So Black Hat, there that goes. Number 4 for me. Oh my god. This movie, I was like, this has to make my list. Don't forget about this. Don't forget about this movie. Mordecai. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. This movie, there's not even having fun with this movie. This movie was painful to watch. I love Johnny Depp, but when I see him in roles like this, where he's just pretty much Nigel Thornberry, he's all Magooish and shit and goofy, I'm just like, I can't even take you serious as an actor, Johnny Depp. But thank God he redeemed himself later in the year in Black Mass. That movie was good. But Mordecai, no. The movie was just one big-ass cartoon. People were just doing cartoon things in it. The only thing the movie was missing was an Acme hammer. That was it. So Mordecai, if you've seen it, I pity your soul. If you didn't see it, salute to you. Now, number 3, these top 3 movies deserve to be on the list. As a matter of fact, these top 3 movies are going to probably be your top 3 movies in some way, shape, or form on your list. So number 3 for me, with Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension. For some reason, like last year, Paranormal Activity is not number 1. It should be number 1 on my list, but it's not, because there are 2 more movies that were worse than this. I knew this movie was not going to be good at all. I just knew it, and this movie was pretty much everything that reminded me of Paranormal Activity 3, the one I hate the most, and it was that. The formula is, like I said, if Flame moves to a new house where things are happening and shit, Dad says, okay, let's get a camera, start filming shit. Dad sees something weird on the camera, let's put cameras all around the house and shit. Now you see the activity happening and it's CGI fucking weak-ass glory. Or then bodies start dropping and shit like that, and then you see the ghost Toby just take the little girl, and then that's that. I really hope this is the last Paranormal Activity movie we get forever. Don't reboot this shit. There's nothing good about this movie at all. It's very forgettable. It was just very familiar. The scares were just, it was a jump scare fiesta of fiestas. If you hate jump scares, this movie's gonna make you take a gun and just shoot up your local movie theater. I'm not saying do that, but it's gonna make you do that. Nothing about this movie enjoyable. I even tried to tear the movie apart while watching it, but I was just like, I'm so mad at this movie. I can't even do it. God. So number 3 for me, Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension. Number 2 for me, this was like a back and forth thing. It's really like a back and forth, but the reason it gets number 2 instead of number 1 is The Woman in Black 2. It was the first movie I seen and reviewed of the year, and I wish I didn't, but hey, that's how it goes. 4 movies January, what can you do? You just can't avoid them. They are a cancer. Nothing about the movie was good at all. Some of the fact that I remember it was just CGI bullshit. I remember just watching the movie with the intention in the mindset just like, the first movie was good. It was pretty decent. Nowhere in my mind I was like, that movie, Woman in Black, deserves a sequel, but we got one, and it sucked. Not only did this movie suck, I had the worst movie experience of my life. Watching this movie. I saw it with my mom. We went to go see the movie and shit, and there was a bunch of teenagers shit. They were just throwing popcorn and was saying, oh, fuck you to each other and shit, and it was just causing all types of hell and havoc and shit. It was the worst movie experience I ever had in my whole life. It was so bad that the cops came into the movie theater and just started taking people out left and right, and one dude walked out of the movie theater and was like, the movie sucks anyway, fuck the police. I was just like, oh my god, can we just leave? Can we just leave? Because this movie ain't getting no better. The only good thing about the movie, not really the movie itself, is I got free passes to see another movie. So that was that. That was cool, I guess. The Woman in Black 2, my number 2 worst movie of the year. And here's number 1. Number 1 movie for me, honestly. After hearing the Woman in Black story, I'm like, maybe Woman in Black should have been my number 1 movie. But this movie gets the number 1 because of this distinct reason. And to tell you which one it is, it's Sinister 2. This movie really disappointed me because I went into Sinister 2 thinking like, okay, this is gonna be the horror movie, if anything, probably the best horror movie we have leading to the summer movie season. No, it was not. As a matter of fact, this movie was just like, I had some people come to me like, oh man, you didn't like that movie, man? I was gonna see it because the first interview was so good, it was so great, I thought that this was gonna be good. I'm with you guys too. I'm with you guys that were like, I thought Sinister 2 was gonna be good, because the first one was good. I thought, okay, we're gonna get the sequel that's gonna be good too. It's as good as the first one, right? No, it wasn't. Because it just had the Great B, Children of the Corn ripoffs and shit. They were pretty much the stars of this whole movie, and it was just like, who the fuck are you kids? Why do I care? And that creeper, Bagul, you know, Michael Jackson's zombie ghost, he was in the movie for about 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes of 120-minute runtime. And when Bagul was in the movie, he was just standing there, all creepy and shit. He was all standing there like this. You're just watching it, you're just like, fucking Christ, do something, do something. Jump out at me, do something. So Sinister 2, which is the worst movie I've seen this year, it disappointed me to no end. I was just like, I want this movie to be actually really good. I was rooting for this movie, so when a movie I root for just lets me down, it hurts so much more. Oh man. So that's my top 10 worst list movie of 2015, guys. That's what I thought were the worst movies. There's some movies I didn't see yet. So the movies I didn't see that you saw, share with me. What's your top 10 worst list movie of the year? Now, I know some of you guys are going to be like, why is the Terminator Genesis on your list? Why is it on there? Trust me, guys. If I had a top 10 15, it'd be on there. But just for 10, that's what you got. Whatever your list is, put in the comment section, let me know. Let's just talk about the top 10 worst movies of 2015. Let's just do that, because that's fun. I love hearing you guys feedback with me. That's what we do on my channel. It's all love. Now, I look forward to doing this again with you guys at the end of 2016 next year, because it's going to probably be some worst movies that year, too. Love you guys, and as always, subscribe. Until next time.